Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Mystics Outlook. Uh, Washington just hosted the Seattle Storm. Today, both teams came into this one winless. Someone got their first win today, and someone remained winless. Seattle was able to close out Washington 84-75. Drew Lloyd, this was tremendous down the stretch. The combination of her choosing to get downhill, drawing fouls, and then Washington had a bit at times just been a little bit too handsy. She got to the line quite a bit, and that's how Seattle essentially closed out Washington. But this one, a lot of this one was just missed opportunities for Washington. Like even from in the first quarter, they got off to like a 7-2 start, and even then, it felt like they should have been up a little bit more. But they missed some easy shots. They missed several bunnies right in the restricted circle throughout this game, and that's something that continued uh, all afternoon, honestly. And I'm sure it's something that haunts them a little bit. Also at the foul line, sticking with the theme of missed opportunities, they shot. Let me make sure I get this right. They shot 16 of 23 from the line in this game. Left 7 on the table. And then on the boards, it was expected. You're missing Carey tonight, obviously, but it wasn't really it was the bigs to a degree, but Washington just had to do a better job as a team crashing the glass. Sykes, while she's not a big, she is someone all of her career who does a lot of work on the glass. Missed both Austin and Sykes in that regard tonight, and even then, talking about still having a chance to win this game. While they turned over the ball less than they did last game, it turned Seattle over 20 times. Seattle was able to capitalize on those missed opportunities where Washington was not. Seattle scored 26 points off the missed turnovers in this game. They won this. They won this one by 9. Um, Again, 26 off of 16 turnovers, while Washington only scored 13 off of 20 Seattle turnovers. Again, I'm going to stick with this, just the missed opportunities in this one. We saw Seattle stretch out to, I think they got to lead to about 15 with a couple minutes left in the first half. And credit Washington for going on it, like immediately responding. They went on a 10 run to close that gap to 5 by the time we got to the break. But just another tough game for Washington, and again, just some things on their side which they can't control that are probably going to haunt them in this one. And you're going to continue to hear me say this quite a bit. Just missed opportunities. Hurt them. There times they got turnovers. Wrong read might have been made, or a couple times they turned it over themselves, or just it was just an empty trip. And when you're in a game like this, those empty trips, those extra possessions, you're almost nullifying them when you don't get anything off them. While Seattle, they almost doubled down on, Washington's missed opportunities. But for the Mystics, they're off to an 0-3 start. They're about to head out. I think they're heading out west on this next road trip. And they return. Their next home game is not going to be until the 29th. I believe they'll be hosting the Dream. So we're going to keep up with you guys with that. When this is out. With that said, as far as this game goes, at least for me, just player of the game, Judah. Every time Seattle was in need of something, she was kind of the one providing it. Really stepped up for them, closed out the game late. She got going in that second quarter when they kind of started to stretch out that lead to 15. And credit to Seattle's bench. They did a really good job screening, getting their star guards loose so they could get Washington's perimeter defenders off of them long enough to get into some space and make something happen. X factor in this one, I'm going to give it to Ezzy McLemore. And we're going to touch on what she did tonight a little bit later, as it pertains to somebody else on the Mystics. Ezzy finished with 15 points, 14 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Just take advantage. She did a really good job taking advantage of her opportunities. When she had when there were times where maybe she was given too much space, she put the ball on the floor, she got down, and she scored. Other times she just crashed the glass and got some easy putbacks. Similar to Drew, she got a couple. It was there was a couple sequences in the second half where she just continued to get downhill. She didn't capitalize on every one of those and one opportunities, but the first part of the and one counted. Uh, those were big plays for Seattle, so credit to her in that as well. But I thought Seattle's guards did a good job. Their bigs were huge, just freeing them up. But for Washington, I thought Shatori Walker Kimbrough had a really good afternoon. She really came out, did a good job defensively and offensively, knowing that Washington was missing a couple players. She really stepped up. She finished with 12 points, but she had 3 steals, so she did a really good job defensively. And again, Washington needed someone else to kind of help pick up the scoring slack by the 2 players that were missing, that weren't available. Rather, I won't say missing action, but weren't available for Washington tonight. What I'm going to go and get into right now, since it's just me, just some positive, just some notes I had from throughout the game. As far as Seattle, I think I got through that already. And again, both teams missing some key players. Seattle getting this win without Neka Case big. She's one of the biggest acquisitions they got along with Skyler. But the 2 of them, getting them in the offseason was huge for Seattle. But again, they got the win tonight. So credit to them in Washington. I just touched on it. Missing Shakira Austin and Brittany Sykes. First time starters in Mystic's debut in this one. You got Aaliyah Edwards and Van Loo, Julie Van Loo, starting in place of Sykes and Austin tonight at the 1 and 4 respectively. We also got to see Jade Melbourne, who came in to trade from Seattle literally with a day before cut day, before the regular season started. So we didn't get to find out too much about Jade, just that she at least made her Mystic's debut. As for the other 2, Van Loo, a little bit up and down this game. Was encouraged by what she was trying to do defensively. Tough assignment, having to guard Sky, obviously. Just a little too handsy at times. And, you just can't have 5 fouls on the perimeter, but anybody who's been around the league, watching the if you cover the league, it's tough as hell on the perimeter out here for guards. So she got her first taste of that extended action, right? Then for Leah Edwards, she did a really good job on the glass, especially early. I think she had 5 boards of blocking and steal in the first 5 minutes. She got a foul trouble that took her out of the game for much of the second quarter. And then missed opportunities for her. She should have finished this game with a double-double. Missed several layups, 3 free throws and whatnot. But one of the things, I brought up Ezzy earlier, and where there's some correlation there was Ezzy kind of had some of her bigger stretches when Leah wasn't on the floor. Leah, while she's shorter than Ezzy, physically was fine dealing with Ezzy, honestly, and was fleet of foot enough to kind of keep Ezzy from getting downhill. She was at times later in the game when Leah wasn't in front of her, right? Ezzy still did a great job tonight, but you just saw some of the things that made that pick. So while Washington got some of the returns on that investment on the defensive end of this one, I'm sure she had several shots she would love to have back. She just didn't shoot the ball well tonight. But defensively was solid. Did a good job on the glass. Had 11 boards, I think 3 or 4 of which were on the offensive end. Just in some positives for Washington as a whole. Defense being their calling card still occurred through 3 games. Defense has been their calling card. Obviously, they weren't perfect. Still, at times, they get a little too handsy, but it's not something where it's all game. It's just when it happens, it kind of happens, and it happens in key stretches for them, right? Atkins, I thought her decision making was better on the ball tonight, and I love her taking the challenge of guarding Jewel Lloyd. I think Jewel started to get going a little bit, and in the second quarter, you could hear her. We're 7 press rows, like 15 rows up, something like that. You can hear her clearly. I don't know what you guys can hear at the broadcast. Just her screaming moves on her teammates, like, just that's my matchup. Try to limit Jewel at times, so I love that. Shatori, again, just very impactful, both things on the floor. Edwards' ability to impact the defensive end. And then just the passing and the rebounding. Her shots going to come. Your work is going to come with time. But just in this game, her and several others, just the missed opportunities, those missed bunnies hurt bad, as did the missed free throws. And then with the negatives, the offense still a little janky at times. Obviously, missing Missing two key cogs in Austin and Sykes is huge. But just at times, you still have moments where, someone's cutting into someone else's space at the wrong time, or someone is trying to use a screen, use a ball screen, or something of that nature. I mean, again, this is the last time I'll mention it, I promise. Just the missed layups and missed free throws tonight. It's huge. I brought up already, at times just being too hands on the defense. And I think they still got to tighten up their decision making at times. It was I think like early in the game, Van Williams, Edwards set a one ball set a one ball screen. She's rolling to the basket. Van Lou made the more difficult pass. I think over the top, the Carly, but the defender didn't really leave. Where Lee kind of had to roll to the basket. You had other times where just a couple miscommunications, whether it's a big or a wing, uh, trying to hit a teammate, cutting back door or something like that, just a little off. But those are the small things, just in terms of sort of things they can control that they have to do a better job at. Obviously, they want to get their first one, but just as they go forward, so they can start capitalizing what they do to teams defensively when you're turning someone over. You just got to capitalize. Too many empty possessions tonight at times. Where it could have been them, it could have been them in the first quarter possibly, stretching out the lead in double digits. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Um, could have been them. I think near the end of the third, maybe they got the lead up to 5, or midway through the third, they got the lead up to 5 a couple of times, but they weren't able to stretch it out, capitalize on a couple turnovers and whatnot to take that 5-point lead and make it 10-point lead. But again, it's just the third game. We'll see how things go as they embark on this road trip. We'll see you guys soon.